Our Prime Minister for the last 10 years has been pushing renewable energy. He relentlessly has been advocating. A huge portion of industry in Maharashtra specifically is switching over to using renewable energy. We can be the powerhouse of the world for so many aspects. I'm sure the government is thinking loud and clear on this. We're doing 42 kilometers a day. Hats off to the minister. These governments today they're not in governance, they mean business. They're running their ministries like no other. You look at the telecom, you look at the electronics, look at the railways, look at the transport. Fantastic. The push by all these ministries is amazing.
Welcome to the Viksit Maharashtra Viksit Bharat podcast. Today we have a very special guest with us, President of the Mahratta Chamber of Commerce, Industries and Agriculture, an organization that has been pivotal in fostering Maharashtra's industrial and economic growth since 1934. Welcome to this podcast, Mr. Deepak Karandikar.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you? Good.
Been very good, sir. Let's dive straight into this conversation.
Perfect.
MCCIA's role in fostering development and growth in Maharashtra in the last 7 decades.
Well, we are a 90-year-old organization set up by R.R. Bhatt. We salute the vision of our founder, R.R. Bhatt, late Nachi Kelkar, as we call him in Marathi, late Mr. Dhananjay Rao Gadgil, late P.D. Padamji, late G.D. Apte, late D.B. Poddar, and many other luminaries for setting up the chamber in 1934. It's been around for almost 90 years. And as I recollect, this chamber was set up by R.R. Bhatt with a vision to promote industry in Maharashtra. And what better place could it be than Pune, which was the capital of the eras and the empires that be. So he set it up in Pune, and one of the big advantages we got from the vision of R.R. Bhatt was that he was instrumental in setting up one of the nationalized banks, which is Bank of Maharashtra. And it was set up by MCCIA. To do what? It was simply to provide financial assistance to entrepreneurs in Pune and then in Maharashtra. And see what has happened. It worked. He was such a selfless person that he gave all his money to the chamber. He even has his Padma Bhushan awards in our chamber. He donated it to the chamber. And what we do is, we have almost 2,900 to 3,000 members from various disciplines like engineering, automotive, auto components, machine tools, information technology, ITES, electrical, electronics, biotechnology, environment, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, agriculture and food processing. One of the major constituents we added up to the MCCI logo and added A because we wanted to be primary drivers to agriculture and food industry in Maharashtra. Education institutions have been our members, research organizations, financial services, and the list can go on, but I'll stop here. So that's where we are. We are known for our dynamism, all part of this western part of India and abroad. It's been the last 2 decades that we have been actively promoting Pune region, right? And an attractive destination for investment. You can see the investments that came in. We have approximately 330 German industries operating out of Pune. The best known to the world are Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen. And we're proud to tell you that we were instrumental in persuading Volkswagen to shortlist Pune as their destination and we see what is happening. The industry in Pune has really taken off since they've been here for the last 15, 18 years.
Okay.
And they're doing well. Yes.
Sir, so I may want to interrupt you here. You spoke about attracting investments in Maharashtra, and Maharashtra is one of the states in the country that has continuously attracted the highest number of investments. So what do you think has enabled this?
It's simple. The infrastructure that was available to industry is required by the industry. Let me tell you, it is cheap land, it is skilled labor, it is energy, it is investment, it is roads, infrastructure like ports, the airport and the seaports. We had it all. So there was nothing stopping Maharashtra. We didn't have the raw materials, but they were available, either imported or indigenously available. Like steel came from the PSUs like Bhilai and SAIL or Tata Steel, JSW, whatever. And that was available, but the conducive environment that Maharashtra built up for itself over the period, and the great initiative by the governments that encouraged so much industrial activity, thanks to all of them. Salute to the visionaries that were in Maharashtra. And we are basking in the glory of their vision and their success. Yes. But I must say that a lot of credit goes to the industry and industrialists who saw this vision coming and capitalized on it. As you know, we have Bombay as the capital of the commerce in India. So it was there, and we all are beneficiaries of all that.
Yeah. Sir, what about the current status? So you've mentioned over a period of time that an ecosystem of sorts was developed which has enabled this growth. So about the current times, when we talk about infrastructure in the state, how do you see various things that have come up, and how do you see them fostering growth in this state, and particularly in this region, if I would say Pune and nearby?
Very good question. So dear to my heart, and that is what MCCIA probably is meant to do, advocacy. Take the voice of the industry to the areas where it be heard and actions be taken. Like in any natural sinusoidal wave, anything that goes up must come down and then go up again, and this continues. So I personally believe that Maharashtra had an excellent 3 decades of industrial growth. Obviously, there were some ups and downs, but if you take the average of the growth rate in Maharashtra over the last 3 decades, it was phenomenal. We are going through some correction at the moment, and that should not be seen as a negative. But I think it's a correction that will help us launch ourselves once again, where we will be able to achieve the $1 trillion target that Maharashtra has set for itself. And I believe that is achievable because of basically the infrastructure that we need to build up. One of those issues, as MCCIA, what we wanted to do, we realized that we were an energy-starved nation for a very long time. And our Prime Minister for the last 10 years has been pushing renewable energy, and we get to know figures that he relentlessly has been advocating 300 gigawatts of energy from renewables. Let me give you some breakups of energy that is available. Between 50 to 60% of our energy comes from coal. It was 70 some time ago. Renewable has gone up. Nuclear is still at 3%. Hydro is expensive, so we cannot do much of it. So the need of the hour is to tap the celestial god that we have, the sun, that gives us relentless amount of energy that we could tap, convert it into that form of energy that we could use as industry. We in Pune have in excess of about 10,000 and more small industry. Look at the humongous energy needs of these small industry. And we go gaga when we say that they are the largest employer, the SMEs in India and especially in Pune. They are the largest employers. They contribute to about 28 to 30% of the GDP, contribute to 40% of the exports. But what do they get in return? They're struggling. So we took it up as part of the chamber initiative to make your energy, make your own and use it. So it is like the do your own things. So we wanted to make our own energy and use it. Because energy in Maharashtra, which is the costliest commodity for any industry, the cheapest energy in neighboring states is 27% lower than what it is in Maharashtra.
Why is that?
Taxes. Okay. And we've been privileged because energy is a monopoly. The distribution of energy is a monopoly in every state. We have distribution companies that have now cropped up. And this is going to take time when governance allows generation, transmission, and distribution by private networks, right? This is still to be decided by the government. But let me come back to the MSME thing. So I was requesting energy ministers at the center and at the state to allow small industry, chota consumer, whose contract demand is between 50 kW or 100 kW. Allow them to produce their own energy and use it. So simple. But the distribution companies never wanted this to happen. But I think they have seen light of the day, and only recently in Maharashtra, on 9th of September, has the distribution company said, okay, you can go ahead and make your own energy elsewhere, wherever the radiation on solar panels is good, and you can push it, evacuate it into our substations, and we will allow you net metering at your end. This is going to give a huge push to the small industry because their costs are going to go down and they will become globally competitive.
So what do you have to say about the National Solar Mission? So this is something Prime Minister Modi launched, and he has been advocating for it, like you said, in some of the biggest forums worldwide about how this transition is important. So how do you see this transition impacting the industrial landscape of the state?
Is there a transition? Yes, there is. If you check up what are those 100 units, how are they made in India? What is the way energy is produced? As I told you, coal, nuclear, renewable, then you have hydro and so on. But the capital cost on all these is humongous. I mean, India lost its benefit when we decided to use thorium, which is so abundantly available in India, for actually our energy needs. This did not move on because of unfortunate incidences in the past. But today, with this renewable initiative, we have God's gift that we are in the tropics. So we get almost 300 days of sun in India. And I think we can make good use of this, it is going to turn around the entire landscape of industry and the service sector. Because if energy is abundantly available at reasonable cost, I needn't explain to even a layman how it's going to make things really different for our society and industry at large. So I see the bright days ahead. I see we are moving at a very good pace, and a huge portion of industry in Maharashtra specifically is switching over to using renewable energy, investing in the renewable energy and using it.
So are you seeing any investments, FDIs flowing into this sector in the state?
I do not know if FDIs have flown in, but if you understand the cross-subsidy of, like, if MSCDCL, if our distribution company is buying it at X per unit energy to distribute, some of it is theft, which is going down. Some of it is agriculture, which has to be subsidized because it is a commitment. So this X minus has to be compensated by users. And the users are essentially residential, industrial, and commercial, who ultimately pay more to balance off this equation. You buy at a price and then you subsidize it. This subsidy doesn't come from the government, but it comes from the guys who pay at a higher price. So, what has happened to your question? The state of Maharashtra, they have agreed and they are setting up an entirely different distribution company for agricultural users. So the cross-subsidy question is going to go away.
Okay. So that is going to benefit...
That's going to benefit everyone. That's going to benefit everyone.
Okay.
So the old structure of cross-subsidy is going to go away. And this is something that the Maharashtra government has decided, and I'm sure they will take it up in times to come. Earlier or sooner the better. That's how I believe that investment in this is coming up in a large way. And industry and investors in Europe and the US are also looking at investment in solar projects in India. And we get a lot of concessional funding from IRIDA, from the State Bank, from SIDBI, and I think it's going to work. Investment is no big deal. Okay. Yeah.
Sir, since you were talking about SMEs, I would like to come to ease of doing business. Now, this is a term that has been used for states that are growing at a rapid pace, and how ease of doing business creates that environment which is going to help with the growth. So can you tell us what is the status of this in the state of Maharashtra? How easy is...
Hats off to the governments that were. I don't know. The next government will probably also follow what was being done in the last 2 or 3 decades. Maharashtra, being a progressive state, had the ease of doing business, I think, top out on its agenda. Top priority was given to ease of doing business. However, I'll stand corrected by not agreeing with you on this point that we were the best state. We could have done much better. I must commend on the center and the state to have implemented the GST, which got rid of a lot of complications on the taxation structure. So the direct taxes and the indirect taxes have been, in my opinion, smoothened out to a level where I would normally not have much complaint. However, there is a lot to be done on the direct and indirect taxes. But it has, let me acknowledge, it has been a boon. And a lot of non-compliances that were inherently built in the earlier regimes has simply gone away. Like, there is no physical check for material coming into municipal corporations as octroi was abolished. It was converted into a LBT, which was merged into GST. Now look at the amount of time industry spent in actually overcoming the physical check on octroi. So all these are gone. I think all the others, like the Inspector Raj, it's gone. There is inspection, but the Inspector Raj is gone.
What is the difference? Because for people who
Simple.
know, younger folk,
It is simple.
yeah,
Like, I have an income. So the law of the land says if you have an income and over so and so, you have to pay tax. So I go out and pay my tax. I don't have people coming, checking my books, finding out that I have crossed my limit and I should pay tax. So it is a self-certification that was imbibed in me by the income tax, right? So all other governances such as ESI, PF, labor welfare, Factories Act, electrical inspection, we have now to go through your self-certification. So you have to certify for yourself and submit to the government that you are compliant.
Sir, how do we ensure that?
There are audits. So those who want to dodge will get caught.
Okay. So there is a system in place.
There is a system now in place. And those who don't want to dodge experience the ease of doing business. It is so simple. Of course, so much more needs to be done. It's not completely done. So much more needs to be done. But I'm sure we are getting there. And I'll tell you the drive. If we don't correct ourselves, we will not be able to compete in the world market. And if you're not able to compete in the world market, only the domestic demand is not going to see us through, because we are growing at a rapid rate between 6 and 7% as GDP growth. And if we do not catch up, then we are going to be in trouble. And I think the government has realized that self-assessment or self-certification, which they insist upon today, is going to increase to a level where it's going to make things very easy for us. Very easy. Like we were recommending to the distribution company. Today, I'll give you an example. You had a landline and your phone used to ring, right? And you had the entire connections wired up to the telephone exchange and then to the next exchange, and then he would call from that and you would get connected. And for all you know, you will go saying hello, hello, and then something goes wrong. You saw from that, from the dial, you went to digital. You've forgotten both these instruments because of the technology that came in. I mean, we have experienced it all in our own regime. So in my opinion, this was a fundamental change, and you would not want to go back to those old days. So it is so rapidly changing that change is constant now, and we are changing. Even small industry like mine, today in the pursuit of having to deliver quality to my customer, all that I have to do is lean on the best manufacturing practices and whatever technology is available to me within my given budgets. But I know the mantra which will push small industry to bettering their prospects. Invest 2% of your sales every year into technology, into research and development. And if you don't, God help you. But we don't do that. And God knows why we don't do that. But having learned this after being associated with MCCIA, I have been personally doing it. And I find that ease of manufacturing, doing business is one, ease of manufacturing has helped me. My dependence on skilled manpower is dropped. My dependence on collective bargaining, हम ये नहीं करेंगे, हम वो नहीं करेंगे, has dropped. So, small amount of automation, small amount of technology drives, small amount of improvements in manufacturing. We have, in my company, depended a lot on Toyota production systems, lean manufacturing practices for the last 14 years, and we have benefited on.
Sir, what do you have to say about Make in India? So when we talk about manufacturing, as you mentioned, there is a push by the government, and India aims to become a manufacturing hub. And in certain areas like defense and other electronic components and all of that is happening now. How do you see this entire ecosystem developing?
Encouraging. We used to call China the factory of the world. Now they say China Plus. What is China Plus? China Plus is India, Vietnam, Cambodia. These are the South Asian countries that the world is looking at. But especially India, because India has the potential. We have the demographic figures to help us. But I think if the entire ecosystem doesn't develop the way we are expecting it to, I don't see it not happening. I will see it happening. But it has to happen at a pace which China saw for itself 3 decades ago, and see what happened. So if we do not unshackle the industry, and if we do not do Atmanirbhar, we are not going to get places.
How important it is at this moment, and what do you think should be the pace of going Atmanirbhar all out?
I'll ask you a counter question. Is there an option? There is none. We have to be Atmanirbhar. And to be Atmanirbhar, we have to have a policy which helps that Atmanirbhar. We have to have infrastructure which helps Atmanirbhar. We have to have the financial strength. So the entire ecosystem, the entire platform has to rise. And everybody has to be enthused in trying to jump onto that platform and help this country. See, there are targets of 10 trillion by 2034. Well, let's forget that. Let's reach the 5 trillion and we'll see the magic that happens. We'll see the extra money, disposable income in every Indian's pocket. And that every Indian will be that Indian who contributes to Atmanirbhar. Doesn't lean on those who are Atmanirbhar. But if each one of us contributes to that Atmanirbharta, I'm sure we are going to get there. And that is because look at the demography. We are 140 crores today itself, little more than 142 crores as I saw it on the display the other day. Is it a boon or is it a pullback? It's a boon. Simple. Because the average age is so much lower, the employable youth is in that bracket where they're actually employable, and we can be the powerhouse of the world for so many aspects. I'm sure the government is thinking loud and clear on this, and with all that I read, yes, we are going to be there. I am quite sure. But it will take the youth to actually contribute to this Atmanirbhar. The money is there. The money will come.
Sir, in what way? So when we talk about job creation and we talk about employability versus the other things, so how do you see, what are the areas where youth can be contributing to this entire national growth?
See, today, as I believe very clearly, I believe that the youth of the villages or rural India today believes that the opportunity is in the cities. And his destination, चलो यार बम्बई जाएंगे कुछ तो मिलेगा, चलो कोई मेट्रो जाएंगे वहाँ तो opportunity मिल ही जाएगी. This opportunity has to be available in his rural India or in our rural India. And when he stops migrating, the growth will happen. So you have to create that opportunity for that guy. And I'm sure we are doing it. Look at the corridors that are being built that will connect Mumbai and Delhi. And they are wanting to first create the infrastructure and then build up these industrial cities along this road that will connect Mumbai to Delhi. What better vision can any government have than doing something so fundamental about this? So, in my opinion, this will really go a very long way in creating the job opportunities that the youth of rural India are looking for today. And if given this opportunity, and let me quantify or qualify this opportunity, it should be as good or even better than what is available in urban India today. And I'm telling you, it's going to make a huge difference. Yes, it will make a difference for a person like me who's sitting in Pune, because I will get lesser and lesser people to work for me. Be it that way. But I am sure it will make industries migrate out of the concentrated 8, 9, 10 cities in India and move out into the rural, decongesting the urban areas which have not been developed in a way they should. You see, I have traveled so often to Germany, and you do not see the deficiencies of infrastructure even when you pass through villages in Germany. You see the basic infrastructure is available. So unless he has to move out, I think he stays there and he finds. If we create something like this, which we are, with the Samruddhi now having connected Mumbai and Nagpur, with the connect between Mumbai and Delhi, with the connect between Pune and or Mumbai and Bangalore that's happening, I think it will benefit Maharashtra big time.
Do you think all of these, the entire infrastructure push, when we talk about improving urban-rural connectivity, that is what you mentioned, do you think we are doing it, the government is doing it at a rapid pace?
We are doing 42 kilometers a day. Hats off to the minister whom I have personally met. And he means business. I think these governments today they're not in governance, they mean business. And we used to in the past say that it's not government's business to be in business, which is coming true today. And they're running their ministries like no other. You look at the telecom, you look at the electronics, look at the railways, look at the transport. Fantastic. The push by all these ministries is amazing.
What fundamental difference have
Look
you
at Vande Bharat. It's a different level that the railways is taking you to. You sit in an Eurorail, you sit in ICE intercity express in Germany. Why can't we have this in India? You come back board of Vande Bharat, I'm sure you will get the same experience. Unfortunately, our average speeds on the Indian rail are not more than 51 kilometers per hour, while in Europe they could be a staggering 150 plus average speed.
Do you think the development of dedicated freight corridors is going to address this problem?
It's a self-answering question. You will see the beautiful shift. They will get opportunities. See, the rail tracks have to be redone, and then the trains can run faster. So I think we are such a large country. It's very easy to say, "Arey, ye hona chahiye, ye hona chahiye." लेकिन अपने घर में भी चेंज अपने ही ढंग से ही होता है. You know, you do it at a pace which is comfortable to you. You want to change curtains, but you don't find time for 2 months, and then will you be accountable for not having done it 2 months earlier? No, you do it at your pace. But no, these ministries have constraints. I think there is enough budgetary support today, and they are pushing very hard. So this will happen.
You talked about migration. You talked about creating opportunity in one's own state so that migrants don't really have to go to or find, go looking for livelihood in other states. When we talk about Pan India, have you seen any other state developing at a much higher scale and speed than you expected? And what is the migration like? Suppose when we talk about Maharashtra, there are a lot of migrants from nearby states, UP, Bihar. So is there anything that you have observed, a change in this pattern?
Look at UP. The kind of infrastructure that the Chief Minister in UP is doing. He built that lovely airport in Noida. He's creating industrial parks, inviting the film industry to migrate out of Mumbai. I mean, very, very few would have touched Bollywood. But he made an attempt. So when you have competition, you have, what would you say, excellence on quality. You improve quality that way, right? So I think Uttar Pradesh is one of the best examples. We are in tough competition with them. It will take time for industry to realize that that is a good destination. I'm not against Maharashtra, but I'm talking pan-India.
Sir, quickly, your closing comments on Maharashtra's role in India's journey to become Viksit Bharat by 2047. What do you have to say about that?
It does play a lead role. We were the top, but I believe we are in the first 5. I think Maharashtra has a vision for 1 trillion, which will help the 5 trillion that India has as a target. We should be the lead state. I'm sure we will lead with the right kind of governance that is required to push agri, which is so important for rural India and its development. Industry, which is so important to produce employment, to help the GDP, to help the exports. The service sector, which is so important. You saw what happened to India over the last. We are leads in the service sector. So overall, in my opinion, good days are around the corner, and I am sure we will all benefit out of the lead position that Maharashtra will take, if not the best.
Thank you so much, Deepak ji, for joining us in this episode. And that was it for today.
Thank you. Namaskar.